Hello there, sports fans. Welcome back to Dad's Game Room. Tonight we're going to be playing some football games.
I was warned.
Just that typical announcer, like, yeah, and we're back here at the ballpark, and we're in the fifth inning, top of the fifth.
Oh, you sound like Bob Maneri.
I forgot to close it off.
And no, you've seen Bob Maneri, right? Or Bob Emery or whatever his name is. The guy that's just like, and the 1-2 pitch, and oh, it hit him right in the cock. And it's like, whoa, bro.
Yeah. Just the typical, like, and here's the 1-2 pitch called ball. It's hot dog night here at the ballpark, and go get your hot dogs if you haven't. As a collector, everybody sees sports games, and they're just like, we want nothing to do with them. There's a select few that get the immediate pickup, but most of the time, everyone's just like, it's junk. Just get rid of it.
Yeah, so that's...
Like, when you see sports games, it's like, ugh.
What the hell is all this, then?
So, I like to play a sports game every once in a while, whether it's an arcade-type sports game, whether it's a simulation-type sports game, or whether it's like that in-between. So, I picked up a ton of sports games, and we're just going to play them and see if they hold up.
These are literally from the 99-cent rack, aren't they?
I've paid very little for these. Because nobody wants them, because they're like a yearly release. Usually they get better as they get released.
I forgot to tell you, Fight Night.
That's on my list. I didn't see that at any of the...
Did you get Sculptor's Cut?
You went Sculptor's Cut, man.
Dude, it was a Blockbuster exclusive.
So
I like playing with clay on N64.
I looked up like the best sports games of all time and tried to like stay within those parameters. I have like, obviously as a gamer, like we have some ones that we'll throw into the bunch that we have nostalgia for, that we consider really good.
Okay, we're talking sports games here. You can't sit there and be like, collectors hate sports games, but we're aficionados.
Well, I'm not saying I'm a sports game aficionado, but you get the itch every once in a while to play like a sports game. So
you get the itch every once in a while.
So we're gonna go from retro to like I don't know how, like 10 years ago, more than that, 20 years.
Math is hard.
To 360 era.
Okay.
There.
Yeah, about 20 years.
Yeah.
A little less.
So we're starting with Tecmo Bowl for the NES. Hit the power button.
This is a perfect example of our childhood. You spend 30 minutes trying to fix the damn game to play it for 15 before you have to go home. Blue! 42! Blue! Hut! Omaha!
I think of the, every time I hear, like, that, I think of Wedding Crashers.
I don't know what Red 7 means.
Hot route!
I don't. What is hot route?
Will you just go stand on the other side, please?
3rd and 2, gotta stop him. Completion percentage, 28%?
Damn it.
Woo!
Oh, you're gone. You're gone.
Yeah, boy!
100% just gone.
Woo! Try for point. That ball left the stadium.
Oh, he said, how's that sack drained?
No.
That's what we call a sack lunch. Nom, 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 nom.
Well, I mean, au contraire, it's actually quite full.
Come on, baby!
You are not going to return this shit. What are you doing? Why are you just like... How do you have...
Get there!
6?
Get there!
7.
No.
7 people.
Come on,
That is...
man.
God, I need to go to the front office after that. Run, bitch!
Tecmo Bowl for the NES. What do you think about it?
Shit.
I dropped mine too.
Well, 99 cents. Is that what it costs?
No, I think this is like
Maybe like $3.99.
$5, I think, maybe.
Whatever it is, it's so like it's hard to figure out. But once, and I don't even think it's hard to figure out. I mean, you can't say that's hard to figure out. There's 2 buttons on the fucking controller.
Yeah.
It's so simple that we had that much fun with it that quickly. And I mean, I don't know if it was much fun for you because you kept throwing to my guy.
No,
but
I definitely had like a big thing. I think for a game like this that's this simple is you have to play it with somebody.
Are we done with that?
Yes.
Okay. Because that 8-track's going to drive me nuts. Or the MIDI or whatever you want to call it. Yes, I wouldn't want to play that by myself.
No.
Like that's
Playing that by myself, like I could play one game by myself.
I couldn't.
I could play one, but anything past that, it'd be like, all right, that's enough.
Yeah, I mean, in context of like everything that you have available today, I think if you're doing like a solo thing, you want it to be more engaging. You want it to be more involved because there's not that banter going back and forth. There's not that conversation piece. Like with this, it's kind of like, okay, this is enough to engage, but we can also like interact. And
plus, like this doesn't have the fun of like the license, like the NFL license. I think Tecmo Super Bowl is so popular and miles ahead of this because it was the first official licensed by the NFL. I think. Don't quote me on that because I don't know. All right. Madden 97.
Where'd the sound go?
Come on. Yeah, this Retron's a little finicky. All right, now back to what I was saying. The reason I picked Madden 97 was because I have a picture of myself from Christmas getting Madden 97, and I wanted to see if it held
For
up.
Sega?
First opinion of this game, I immediately am like, I don't know. So I'm just going to call this right now. This game is garbage. Like, it's garbage because, like, it's cool with, like, a 3D aspect and, like, a better playbook and stuff, but it's so stuttery and, like, it's really off. Like, it's, like, you don't know where you're going. You're just kind of, like, you're not running, like, you don't feel like you're advancing. You're just kind of like, yeah, I couldn't even get through, like, a quarter of a quarter. That, like, it's way too, like, stuttery and, like, slow, and it's not fluent. It doesn't flow well. Like,
what's going on with the yellow piece in the cartridge?
That's how some old Sega games were. They made them, like, bigger cartridges, and they had, like, the yellow tabs. I don't know why, but that was like that for some reason. Yeah, that was really bad. That was not enjoyable at all. Like, at least, like, Tecmo Bowl looks worse, graphic-wise.
It's functional.
But it's functional. It flows well. It plays. Like, you're not, like, It's...
It was like you're buffering every step.
Yeah.
Fucking Netflix over here.
Yeah, that was really bad. That was not fun. So we're gonna go into probably what I think is the golden era of sports games, the PS2 era.
Oh, womp. Reading disc. Reading disc. The disc could not be read.
So we were gonna play Madden 2004 and then ESPN NFL 2K5, but neither of them worked from the game store that I bought them from. So there's that. So we at least can we can save this this video here. Well, the servers have been shut down. What? How dare they? We're gonna be here the rest of the night while you choose a fucking team.
Texas A&M. There we go.
So as you can see, this is miles better looking than the previous two that we played.
Omaha! Hut! Run, bitch!
What?
Yeah!
What? What's your favorite football movie?
Remember the Titans. Blitz! Strong side! Strong side! Strong side! Strong side! Tackle him!
Get there.
What the fuck? Catch that shit! What the You're benched. Future at this school is done.
You can pack up your shit.
Ball on the 13-yard line.
We pulled your scholarship. We gave it to little Timmy.
As a matter of fact, we want you to repay what we already gave you. Run, bitch! What the? Wide the fuck open. What the hell are you doing? 15, you're done.
Great play for the offense.
Come here.
Great call by the offense.
Hail Mary at the fucking goal line.
That was not supposed to happen. Fuck. I don't call it audible. What the?
All right, Andy. We weren't able to play the two PS2 games because they didn't work. Which take better care of your inventory, game store, but NCAA football 2011. What do you think?
I mean, I don't think it gets much better. Like, I think that for the most part, like, that is. And even if we had had the opportunity to play like Madden 2004, I think you would have seen it because it's that gameplay depiction of that point of view where you're from the end zone.
Yes.
Where it's really like putting you in the game, not necessarily like inside the helmet, although I think that's a cool concept, but I like the way that they, have like that kind of like hovering bird's eye view over the team where you can see what's going on from the perspective of the offensive team. That kind of came out in the early 2000s. And really, like, never really went anywhere. It was kind of like, oh, this is how we do it. We kind of figured that out. So anything from there on forward, I think will have that. And I think that that's imperative. That's key to football games.
Yeah, I mean, I think the sports games really, like, you can see the progression from the NES through, the SNES and the Sega. And once they came through on, like, the PS1, that's really when they started to, like, amp up and start to have this feeling of gameplay.
Yeah. And I think that that's key. I do.
Yeah.
Not to say it's not fun without it. It clearly is, because I think the bigger key, especially with football games in the context of playing, it's just more fun when you have two people in the same room. I mean, like,
yeah, I can agree.
You can play them individual. I've definitely, spent hours upon hours running through seasons or franchises and these different games on football, by myself. But it's just there's something about it when it's you and somebody else there, especially somebody else you get along with, because you tend to. I got really colored in that particular game because I had a blast playing it, and I love it. And I love the college aspect of it, where it's like, I feel like especially in the college games compared to the NFL games, they get so hung up on, oh, well, this player's so good and this player's, like still developing.
You
and
see
this
these like stat changes where, I think it's Madden 2005 is the one where Michael Vick was like super overpowered or something like that. Like in those types of games, like you have that team that was like, if you select them against your friends, it's like, well, I can't win. Like I just can't.
Yeah, they do those power teams.
Like you have stats in these games, but I feel like even when watching, like college is just much more. It's more fun to watch. It's more like they have something to prove. They're not just all these like overpaid yahoos.
Well, yeah, and I'll articulate it this way. I'm not a basketball guy at all, right? Like,
I could not watch basketball. I could play basketball, and I could play a basketball game to an extent.
so I could dunk on a 10-foot rim in 8th grade. That's about all I could do. Like, beyond that, it was like, oh, okay. And it wasn't like I dunked well, like I could do it competitively or anything like that. I sucked at basketball, but I was tall and I could jump. But beyond that, like in the terms of gaming, basketball has just never been my thing. I don't know why. My point, though, is the only basketball game I ever fucking liked was this NCAA game for PC. I think it was 97.
Yeah.
Like, it was early. Played it on a joystick where you just have, like, your trigger and your cap button.
Yeah.
And, like, trigger would shoot, cap button would pass, and then you had, like, the particular joystick had a couple buttons on the side so you could, pass and do other things. But it was NCAA, so it was mindless. It was simple, and it didn't have any of the, like, oh, well, this guy's super good and this guy's not so good, and, what are these matchups going to do? And I feel like that really kind of gets in the way of a lot of these games, whereas, like, with this, we all know Penn State's the better fucking team.
Yeah.
But it felt pretty even.
Yeah.
Yeah,
with like playing football games and stuff, like it feels more of like a back and forth type of game, unless like once it starts getting carried away, then it's just like, all right, like we know what's going on. But something that I liked about this game when I played it however long, like
14 years.
I think I got this a little after it came out. But the Road to Glory game mode is what I was talking about when we first started. It's where you play like a game in high school or something, and then you get scouted, and then you pick your campus, and then you play your career as whatever position or what have you.
So,
and you could transfer your save to the Madden game. So you could, have your college career and then transfer your player to the Madden game, which I thought was
that's cool.
Super awesome.
Now, you didn't mention that Aaron Andrews was involved with Road to Glory, but, that's maybe not important to some people, but...
But, like, with these kinds of games, like, there's so many... It's not just go in, play football. Like, yes, you can go in, play football, but you can do, like, whatever this mascot mashup is. That's my favorite team, so...
You gotta be kidding me.
Are they all... Are they all the mascot, every player?
Yeah, there's no way. This is golden.
I didn't know what I was expecting, but I was not expecting this.
What?
What? What, did you see that? So, yeah, I mean, this just offers a lot of things to do. It's a lot more fun to play. It's a lot more reasonable and easy pick up and play. I think you're safe playing really any football game from, like, PS1 onward. I think, like, if you're picking up a sports game and, if you're looking to go to the past for sports games for whatever reason, I think you're safe from PS1 on.
Yeah, I mean...
I think you start to get a little sketchy when you get to some of the newer ones because it might be, like, overly complicated.
Yeah.
But I think this sweet spot from PS1 to maybe not the PS4 era, maybe like the 360 era. That's when they were like simple enough to where anybody can pick up and play it. But if you're not like well versed in sports games, it's easy just to...
The simplicity dropped at like the PS3 360 time frame. And just like keep in mind, like NES was very much, can we build this? by the time we got to like PS1, PS2, it was very clear that we could build it. It was more like, how can we build this so it works well for people? So it's, and that kind of stands true for all games, I think. I mean, they became easier to acclimate to the further into, game maturity that you get. And
Yeah.
even if you only have an NES with Tecmo Bowl, I think you can sit down with a friend and have fun with it, like we did.
100%. Yeah.
But if you have the choice, maybe elect for like probably that 360 era, go for like the, I guess, first decade of the new millennium when you're trying to pick out games, like Tiger. We're going to get into that at some point.
Yeah, we're gonna go through like some of the other sports like baseball. We'll touch a little bit on basketball and soccer, golf, hockey, and then
I mean, FIFA has diehards though, so
and then we are going to put this in a separate category just because I think it's just a whole other. Like I couldn't put it in like the sports games here because it's too different. The arcade style sports games, like these that we played tonight, are more like simulation style. The good thing about sports games is they are dirt cheap. NCAA 2011.
Well, that's because their values and their relevance.
Now
Next year it won't be the right
so
roster.
these games here, they're a little more pricey when you're getting into the sports games because these are like well loved. These were I think more popular during the time than the Madden games were.
Well, the key is they aren't tied to a roster.
Yeah.
So they don't lose relevance. I mean, unless the college goes belly up.
Yeah. So like NCAA 14, that's like a $50 game. At one point it was $100 and like 150 I think at its height.
And in order to go to Penn State, it's like $40,000.
So this was $13.
Wow.
So I mean, in terms of price points for games, like $13 is nothing. And then what was the that's for the other.
You didn't
sport.
get this where you said you did.
I didn't get that one there. No. But
I can't believe you went to this place.
so this game here, this didn't work, but this is apparently one of the best football games ever made. So unfortunately, we weren't able to play it, but this was like $5, I think. And I'm sure you could find these in like yard sales or Goodwills for $1.50 even.
Oh, that's a wild thought. Remember when they put manuals in games?
Yeah. And then Madden 04 apparently is also one of the best football games ever made. 2005 as well is one of the best. Unfortunately, again, we couldn't play this one because the disc wouldn't read. But you kind of get the point with the NCAA. It's the same kind of style gameplay. It's a little different, obviously. It's a different game, different players. But it's the same camera view, the same way to pass, same kind of plays.
This right here is what you're looking for on sports games. Anybody you talk to will probably agree with me on this. Most recently, like, there are certain games where 2K really does a good job, but like in this particular era, I think Electronic Arts like had it on lock when it came to this stuff.
100%. 100%. And then like, if the for the retro stuff, Madden 97 was awful. Like, there's a reason that you see this on the shelf and nobody's picking it up. This was a very tough play. Very, very tough play. It played very poorly. It was very stuttery. It just wasn't fluent.
Yeah, and I do want to point out that like we had, our own set of issues with that, but
yeah, like the Retron was acting up, but
even those aside, it was not great.
No.
Like I touched it did I touch it? I did touch it. And I was like, get this away from me.
Yeah. Tecmo Bowl. that was fun. That was a fun game.
I enjoyed that.
That was.
It wasn't as fun as NCAA, but
No, it's not going to be. But for an NES game, and that game's probably $5 to $10, and you can even play that on the Switch as well. That's on the Switch library.
that's the thing that like blows my mind is, if you're paying $13 for an NCAA 2011 and you're paying $10 for Tecmo Bowl, it's like,
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, with the NCAA 11, like if you're looking in the right spots, you can find it dirt cheap. You can find it, $1. You could probably pick it up at a Goodwill for next to nothing, $2-3.
And we are going to revisit football.
Yes.
I plan to try to procure one of the electric football games from the 70s. And we will see if we can set that up and figure out. Because right now we're 1-1.
True.
Break that tie somehow. So magnetic football sounds like a pretty good way to do it.
That would be gnarly. Yeah, we're gonna visit some other sports because I think that would be really fun. If we didn't have all the technical issues that we had, we probably could have done that, but unfortunately,
Do you have space for a pinball machine?
I would.
What do you mean would?
I would find a way.
Okay.
You don't know how bad I've always wanted a pinball machine.
Now I do.
Yeah, I've wanted one for a long time. But yeah, NES, solid choice. Super Nintendo, I think would probably go the same route of the Sega, and it'd be a hard play.
I forget which one. No. I forget which one I had. I did have a football game for Super Nintendo when I was growing up. It was very much Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like they didn't try to redefine everything with it, and it was a good play. It may have even been a Madden game. I don't know if Madden was getting into it that early. I'll have to look it up and let you know. You can throw it in the comments or something or in the description. But yeah, I mean, Super Nintendo definitely has like options there that aren't total crap. I really think they just pushed the Sega way too far on that.
Yeah, I think that sports games get a bad rap from like the collecting community because most of the collecting community, they're not sports fans, and I'm not the biggest sports guy. I played baseball when I was a kid. I still enjoy baseball today. I'm not a big football guy. I do like watching college football. Do I keep up with it? No. Do I keep up with baseball? Not really. Do I enjoy watching hockey? Sure. There are times where I just have an itch to play a sports game, and if I want to scratch that itch, it's nice to know that I don't have to go and spend $60, $70, $40. Like, I can get that very cheap. And if I want to have fun with a couple of friends too, like, it's an easy way to just have some fun competitively and like banter back and forth and, have a couple beers or whatever.
I mean, like,
very chill, like relaxing way to just hang out.
the sports side of the video game market is very much a consumer market. It's not like a collector market, as you were saying. Collectors aren't huge into that. But on the consumer side, sports are just ginormous in America. And, people, they play them. And most of America, it gets cold in the winter and you can't go out and play football. You can't go out and play golf. So it's like, hey, how can I satisfy this in the meantime? And there's a plethora of options on pretty much every sport where you can come inside and basically simulate what you were doing to get yourself through those cold months.
Yeah.
Run! Run! Go! Run! Run! Holy shit! Let's press! Show him who his mother is! How do you miss that? Well, I got to tell you, LJ, Michigan State's D's definitely going after that sack. It's a whole lot of coverage in Beaver Stadium. He's going to nail the tight end.
I'll split your uprights. Oh, he caught a sack.
Crabtree's tight pant. Sacking the
Tight end. It's always hot dog night here in Dad's game room.
It's Wiener Central.